Hey guys, so I know I haven't filmed a video in a little while, and if you follow me on Instagram you probably know why. That is, I'm sorry if you can hear some running around. Brock is decided he would like to play on the couch right now, so we're just gonna deal with that. But anyways, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you probably know why I haven't really been uploading lately, and that is because Ryan and I are expecting our first child. So I am pregnant, and I'm sure by the title of this video you will be aware of that, because I'm assuming I'm titling it something about pregnancy, first trimester, something along those lines. But I am pregnant. So I wanted to talk about like how I found out and my first trimester and how everything went. So I'm actually like, I don't know if you'd say well past first trimester. I am 18 weeks currently, and I believe first trimester ends at 13 weeks. And he just smacked me with a toy. But anyways, so how I found out I was pregnant, it was actually like, it's kind of a weird story. It was just bad timing. So what happened is my period should have been due to start on the Wednesday, and on the Tuesday we actually found out that Ryan's uncle passed away. And so that happened. So Wednesday my period didn't start, and then Thursday was the like viewing for the funeral, and my period still didn't start. And at first I was like, I had a feeling right away. I was like, I am definitely pregnant. Like, there is no way. My periods are really regular. But then a part of me was thinking maybe I'm stressed, maybe with everything that's going on, like my body just, it's just not starting. But like deep down I knew. But obviously I didn't want to take a pregnancy test. Like, I didn't want to take a pregnancy test like before the funeral or after it or whenever. So Thursday went by, no period. Friday morning was the actual like funeral, like mass and burial ceremony and everything. And again, I did not want to take a pregnancy test before or after that, and it's just not, that wouldn't have been a good way to find out. It's, I don't know. It's something that should be happy, so it's not something that I wanted to be like, oh my god, we're pregnant, let's go to a funeral. That's just not a pleasant experience. So I had to work on the Saturday, so I ended up waiting till the Sunday to take a pregnancy test, and it did obviously come out positive. And I booked a doctor's appointment like right away. I think even before I took the pregnancy test I booked one, just because I had been seeing my doctor about my previous pregnancy, which I never talked about, but I did have a miscarriage at the end of last year. So we were doing like tests, checking my hormone levels throughout my cycle, making sure like everything was good, and you know, making sure that there wasn't like a deeper reason for the miscarriage other than the fact that they just happen sometimes, as unfortunate as that is. But she was just wanting to make sure that, you know, my body was healthy and normal and it wasn't going to be a recurring issue. So my doctor's availability isn't the best in the world, and the soonest I could get in, we were actually gone away. We went, Ryan and I went on a trip to Mackinac Island. So I couldn't go until after we got back from Mackinac Island, so I ended up not being able to see my doctor for like 2 weeks. I think I would have been almost 6 weeks pregnant by the time I saw her, or maybe almost 7 weeks pregnant. I can't remember now. But yeah, I want to say almost 6 weeks pregnant. So anyways, during the meantime, I took a pregnancy test every other day because I was just so paranoid. If you've ever gone through a miscarriage, you definitely know the feeling of the doubt and the just being terrified that it's gonna end again like it did last time. Especially my miscarriage was so early. It was right about 6 weeks, I think a little bit sooner than 6 weeks. So I found out I was pregnant and then miscarried like almost right away. So I was taking pregnancy tests every other day, making sure my hormone levels were going up. I went to the clinic. you gotta pee in the cup, and they test it and they're like, you're pregnant. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I know already. And I asked them to send me for blood work, and I explained to them, I had a miscarriage. I just want to make sure everything's good. I can't see my doctor for a while. So I did that. And then we went away, and honestly, I felt nothing. Like, I did not feel pregnant. Like in movies and TV shows and all of those things, it's always like, oh, she found out because she had morning sickness. Like, I don't, is that true? Like, do people really like have morning sickness and that's how they find out? Because I just knew because my period is regular and I didn't get it. So I don't know. I don't know if other people have that experience, but I was not sick. It wasn't until 7 weeks. So like right at 7 weeks, my like changeover day is Wednesdays. So right at 7 weeks, I started feeling sick. Like I only physically like was sick a few times, but I just didn't feel good. I would gag at everything. I have like really bad food aversion. Like I just don't want to eat. Food does not appeal to me. It's not any food in particular. It's just all food. None of it do I want to eat. But that started at 7 weeks. Before that, I felt totally fine. I did not feel pregnant. I could have not been pregnant. Like if I didn't know, like if I didn't have regular periods, I would not have had a clue that I was pregnant until 7 weeks, when I started being grossed out by everything. Like I couldn't eat. Even still, like I'm 18 weeks now and I still have like no desire to eat or cook half the time. Like Ryan has been doing so much cooking and I'm so thankful for him. And it's not even that I can't cook, it's just I have no desire to eat anything. So I don't know, it's weird. It's a really weird feeling because you have to eat, you don't want to, and I don't know, it's strange. So then at 8 weeks and 1 day, I went for my dating ultrasound, and if I wasn't nervous before, I was nervous after this. So obviously getting to see the baby was super exciting and really nice, and something I didn't experience the last time. But like I said, I was 8 weeks and 1 day at the dating ultrasound, and the baby was measuring, I think, 6 weeks and 3 days or 6 weeks and 2 days. So it was almost 2 weeks behind in development. So as much as you don't want to think negatively, after having gone through a miscarriage, you kind of just, I don't know, my brain anyways just goes to the worst possible thing. And they did tell me there was a heartbeat, but they said it was too small to play. But instantly I was like, it's not growing, something's wrong, I'm gonna lose this baby. Like, well, why is it 2 weeks behind in development? But I mean, obviously I'm 18 weeks now, so everything's fine, but it's really hard to just be happy. It's really hard to stay positive after having gone through a miscarriage. And it's not something I really have talked about with a ton of people. So a lot of people are like, oh my God, aren't you so excited? And I'm like, no, I'm not, because I'm kind of terrified. Even still, even though like I know everything's going well now, it's still really nerve-wracking. I have to change my battery on this and find him a quieter toy. So I will be right back. Okay, I took that toy away from him. So hopefully he's a little less distracting. But yeah, so first ultrasound didn't really make me feel great about anything, but I don't know. So that was at 8 weeks. And then between like 10 and 11 weeks, I started to feel a little bit better. Like even, like I said, now I still have food aversions, but it is nowhere near as bad as it was from like 7 to 10 weeks. I like couldn't, like I would try and eat things and I would be gagging while I was eating. I'm sorry, that's really gross, but that's how I felt. And I know, like, I'm not trying to complain because I know this is nowhere near as bad as a lot of pregnancies are. Like I haven't actually been sick. Like I know people who've been hospitalized because they were actually so sick they couldn't keep anything down, but it's still rough. Like, I don't know. Everyone's different. Every pregnancy is different. Every woman's different. And I'm not having the greatest time, but I'm definitely not having the worst time. So, I mean, not much happened aside from that, like feeling gross all the time. Then I had an ultrasound at 13 weeks. So that was my NT ultrasound. I can't entirely remember what that stands for, but that is a like risk assessment ultrasound. So they like figure out your risk of like the baby having what the chances of the baby having Down syndrome are, and they can also find out a lot of other things from that. And I've read about people who have had like experiences later in their pregnancy where the doctors were like, oh, something could be wrong, but like they can look back at the NT like ultrasound and the blood work and see that maybe it's just an anomaly, or like that shows that it's okay. So I mean, I didn't like, my risk of having a child with Down syndrome isn't high to begin with because I'm only 28. Usually birth defects and things like that are higher with the age of the mother, but I honestly, like, I just wanted to do this ultrasound because I just wanted another opportunity to see the baby and see that everything was okay. Again, I don't know if everyone would feel that way, but having gone through a miscarriage, I definitely, any opportunity to see the baby is something I'm very willing to do no matter what. And I live in Canada. I don't know how it works in other countries, but none of this costs me anything. I see my family doctor for free. I go to these ultrasounds for free. I don't have to pay anything. So it's not like I'm spending tons of money doing this. Like, I haven't paid anything. I think I have to pay, I want to say it's $500 to stay overnight in the hospital, but that might be covered by my insurance. I haven't really looked into that yet, but as far as I know, that's the only thing that's going to cost me anything during my pregnancy, aside from anything like I buy personally. But medically wise, that's, I think, the only thing that's going to cost anything. But at that 13-week ultrasound, I was 13 weeks and 1 day, and the baby was measuring 13 weeks. So that was super reassuring. The baby caught right back up to where it should have been. Except the first one, it was almost a week and a half to 2 weeks behind. And it I don't know, caught up. I wasn't expecting it to be honest. And the more I think about it, the more I feel like I'm gonna end up with a small baby. Like, I am only 4'11". Ryan is only like 5'6" or 5'7". We're not very tall, big people, so I don't expect to have a huge baby. I think he said he was like 7 pounds when he was born and I was 5 pounds, so I'm expecting a fairly small baby. Nothing, I don't think I would be able to have a 10-pound baby. I feel like at that point they would probably take it out sooner than 40 weeks. I also don't think I'm gonna make it to 40 weeks, just because of family history. My mom had my sister, I think 6 weeks early, and I was 4 weeks early, somewhere around there. We were both premature. My mom is, I want to say, 1 inch to 1.5 inches taller than me. I mean, obviously the taller and bigger you are, the more room you have for your baby than when you're small. So I don't really expect to have a huge baby. I'm due at the end of March. I don't know what else. I have not had any cravings, obviously, because I don't want anything. Food is gross. Just all of it. I mean, I definitely have an easier time eating like carbs and bland food. Like, I don't know, just like some boring pasta, like with very minimal sauce. Some days are better than others, but yeah, meat is, I think it's mostly the texture of meat. Like, we had steak for dinner last night and I didn't eat like hardly any of it, and I kind of was getting grossed out while I was eating it. We had chicken thighs last week, and I mean, they tasted good, but like, I think it's mostly the texture of meat that's been grossing me out more than anything. I don't like spicy foods to begin with, so anything that's like too spicy, I definitely haven't been able to eat. Sleep has been, some days are better than others. I have been already experiencing quite a bit of pain. It did start in like around the end of first trimester, the pain I've been getting. So I get really bad tailbone pain sometimes. And sometimes it's when I sit too much and sometimes when I stand too much. Basically, from what I've read, it's like your pelvic floor starting to stretch and all of that. And from other things that I've read, because I am such a small person, you usually will experience like pains, like growing pains, I guess, sooner when you're smaller, just because your body has to start doing all the work to stretch like a lot sooner than if you were a taller person or someone with like wider hips. Your body is probably already kind of built for that. Is that the right word to use? But you might already have enough room. Your uterus, your organs, not everything's gonna move as much, I guess. But my body is definitely stretching and pain. Just there's a lot of pain. Obviously not every day is really bad, but the tailbone thing, it sucks. Like the one day I was laying on my back and my tailbone started to hurt and I ended up in so much pain. Like it took me 10 minutes to roll onto my side to take the pressure off my tailbone because I couldn't. So first trimester I was not wearing any maternity clothes. I don't think I was really showing at all. I think I just looked kind of bloated. I am showing a little bit now, but definitely wasn't showing first trimester, was not wearing any maternity clothes, anything like that. Even now, I've only just started to transition into a few pieces, a few maternity items. I did plan on going today to H&M to buy some stuff, but I don't know if I'm going to end up having time. But anyways, that is pretty much the whole story of how I found out I was pregnant, and I think pretty much everything for the first trimester. Like, it wasn't very eventful. I know some people will do these week by week, but for me, first trimester was, I don't know, easy, like uneventful, especially the first half of first trimester. It was just, honestly, you could have told me I wasn't pregnant and I would have believed you, because I didn't feel pregnant until like halfway through. That's when I started feeling pregnant, so there wasn't much to talk about, really. So I mean, if things start to progress more, maybe I'll do another one of these in a couple of weeks, but chances are these are just going to be each trimester, so there will be 3 of these videos, and then probably like a labor and delivery story kind of thing. But yeah, so that is everything so far about my first trimester of pregnancy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really like watching these types of videos. They're very helpful. I mean, like I said, every pregnancy is going to be different and every experience is going to be different, so why not share mine? Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I will post another one of these when I'm entering my 3rd trimester, when my 2nd trimester is over. So subscribe if you want to see that when it happens, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!